We are live.
Good.
Let's see if I can get a link. Yep.
Are you live right now?
Yeah, we're live right now.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
grab that link and then I'll tweet that out. Or a little early, so that's good.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I tweeted the link and I put it on my Facebook. Yeah.
Okay, I see it.
And we have one viewer.
Nice. Early birder. 5 minutes early. Okay. I'll screenshot it and put it on Instagram too. That grabs people right away.
What? What? I put it on Facebook and Twitter. It's on my Facebook page.
Tell Jason I say hi.
Kayla says hi.
And I miss him. I miss you guys. I really miss him. By the way, he's like husband of the year, freaking making your preview for your TPT product. Like,
I know, right?
Husband of the year, just saying.
And he's like been like on top of like the behind the scenes stuff with like all the social media stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's been phenomenal.
That's awesome.
He rocks.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So are you in a brand new building?
Brand new building, like still under construction building. Yeah.
Awesome.
So it's like it's together. They're just doing little things now, but it is brand new. So my classroom is ridiculous, like ridiculous. It has vaulted ceilings, like every little thing is brand new. It's just I can't even explain it. It's just really, really nice. It's really nice.
That's awesome.
So yeah, so I got there and unpacked, and now like I'm pretty much all unpacked, and now I finally started like putting up some stuff today, so it feels like a little bit more like a classroom, which is good. So it's been good. And I saw you put your big rainbow hanger in the window. I did the same thing this time. Usually I had it by the door, but I was like, I like how that looked. So I did it how you did it.
Yay.
I like that. That's good.
All right. Are we ready?
I think so. How many viewers do we have?
We're up to 11.
Okay, let's wait 2 more minutes. 1 more
Okay.
minute. I'll start.
When do your kids start back?
25th.
Okay, so you have a little. So next week.
Yeah, we are way, way later than you. You've been in school for like a week and a half, right?
Yeah, this is our second full week.
It seems like we got back from Vegas and you were like school, like right away. That's what it seems like.
Yeah, we start early, but we get like a week fall break, and then we get a 2-week spring break.
Okay, good. That's really nice.
I can hear Jason he's on Periscope telling everybody to come watch us.
He is?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I can hear him downstairs.
That's awesome.
And look, I have on my shirt.
Oh, I should have mine on. I don't. Mine says live happy. Dang it. You even thought of it. I wonder where mine is. I should just go grab it.
All right. Shall we go ahead?
Let's do it.
We'll put you on the screen and go for it.
Okay, sounds good.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the second Greg and Kayla show. I'm Greg.
I'm Kayla.
And we are going to be talking about social media in the classroom and how we use it in the classroom, how we use it outside of the classroom. We're going to be sharing some back to school tips and talking about happy classrooms.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good. And if you guys have any questions as we go ahead and tweet it using hashtag Greg and Kayla so we can all see it. And we will answer questions as you have them.
Yeah. So go ahead and start tweeting questions. Let us know if you have any questions about Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and how we're using them in our classrooms, how we're using them to grow as teachers, and any other social media questions that you might have. And so we're going to let Kayla kick it off with her favorite social media, Twitter.
Okay, so one of my favorite people in the whole world asked us, One Island Lover Janice said, if you had to invest time in just one social media platform, what would you invest the time in? And for me as an educator, I would say Twitter has been my best PD. So I would choose Twitter. In my classroom, I still would choose Twitter. So like for me as an educator, I choose Twitter because it allows me to do like Twitter chats. I can connect with other people, ask them questions and get feedback instantly. So Twitter has been awesome for me in that way. It's really helped me connect. Like I was just in Oregon for 2 weeks and one of my friends who I never met face-to-face until I was there, I found him on Twitter and we actually met up and were able to meet and talk about some really cool things with iPads while I was there. And I think like if you are not on Twitter or you're not an educator, it's like, it's a weird thing. Like I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna meet Colin and we'll probably just talk about like some technology stuff. And I like my family's like, but have you like, do you know him? And I was like, well, like we've talked on Twitter, like I promise it's not weird. And so it was awesome.
I know him on Twitter.
Yeah, so it's real, like, yeah. So, but that was awesome. And I met him on Twitter and it was an awesome like hour of just like nonstop collaboration, which was really cool. And then with my kids, our classroom Twitter account is @tweetingtopdogs and our classroom Twitter account has, we started I think 3 or 4 years ago now, 3 years probably. And it's just really exploded. Like we have a lot of followers. We follow a lot of awesome classrooms. We follow some really cool experts in the field. especially like technology that allows us to connect with those kind of people that we wouldn't otherwise. So because of Twitter, we've been able to do like Google Hangouts like this with some really awesome people that really get my kids excited to learn. So, and of course, like Twitter tonight is allowing us to connect with hundreds of teachers. So it's just, for me, Twitter is the cool way to do it, or the best way for me to do it. And I love being able to have my kids be tweeter of the day. So every day I choose one child and they are the tweeter of the day. So they live tweet throughout the day, probably 3 or 4 times, things that we're learning, questions that we have. And that's been really cool for not only parents to see what we're doing, but for experts to join in, or for my kids to ask experts things. So that's been really cool. So if you still are not on Twitter, you can watch our July Greg and Kayla show, and we talked mostly about Twitter, how to do Twitter, how to get set up, why you should be on there, pretty much everything you need to know. So, and you can watch that on Greg's channel. It's just on his YouTube channel. You can watch it whenever you want. So, yeah.
All right. So I'm going to talk about my social media of choice. And for me, it's Instagram. I love Twitter. I'm still figuring it out. I'm really good at favoriting and retweeting on Twitter. And I do the Twitter chats. And I think there's actually a Twitter chat tonight at 8 o'clock Central Time, the Teacher Friends.
Yep.
If you've never done a Twitter chat, you really should do one, because those things go crazy fast and you get so many ideas. It's a lot of fun to do a Twitter chat. So I do Instagram. I'm a big Instagram fan. What I love about Instagram is that it's visual. Like, I'm a very visual person, and I know a lot of teachers are very visual.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I like about Instagram, is that it's visual. You can look at Instagram and see pictures and immediately get ideas, resources, be inspired, and see what's happening in classrooms all over the world. Parents can follow Instagram and see what's happening in the classroom. They can see little art projects that their kids have done. They can see work that the kids have done. They can see what's happening in the classroom through Instagram. It's a great way to connect with other people. It's a great visual as a teacher for professional development. If you need ideas, it's a great place to get ideas. And because it is all pictures, you can see a picture, get an idea, and you already know exactly what to do and how to do it and what you might need for a project or an art project. So I love Instagram. It's a great way to connect. You can follow teachers. I follow some random family members, friends, but mostly teachers. And like I said, it's very visual, and for me that's big. I post on Instagram multiple times a day. I post pictures of my daily outfits. I'll post pictures of stuff happening in our classroom, of art projects our kids have done. I'll post pictures of the dogs and the mister and our craziness around the house. So it really is a great way to connect. And what I love about Instagram is that it's a good combination of teaching and personal. So you get to see what's happening in the classroom, but you also get to see that teacher as a person and what their life is like out of the classroom, and what makes them, more of a human. Because we all know teachers aren't really human, especially when you talk to our kids. They're amazed that we function outside of the school. So yeah, Instagram, it's visual. It's a great combination of teaching and personal. It's just a great way to connect and get lots of ideas. And I have lots and lots of people asking me lots of questions on Instagram. So it's also a great way to communicate and connect with others.
Kayla,
Kayla said, I think Kayla said
you talked about putting personal stuff on there too, because I think that's huge. Like, I always say, like, on Twitter, don't just be a robot that just retweets everything that everyone else does. Like, put some personal stuff out there too. And no, you put stuff, Greg. No. But some people will say, like, you need to have a separate personal account and a separate professional account. But I disagree. Like, I think it should all be in one place. Like there should be a good balance, obviously. But I think like putting the personal stuff out there is important too, because people want to see that you are a person, right? And you're not just a robot. And so like I think that with Instagram too, and like I am a huge fan of Instagram too. Like you said, I probably post at least twice a day. During school year is different. Like I feel it's mostly school stuff and then some personal stuff, where the summer's like, I'm on vacation, here's what I'm doing. And sometimes it's school stuff, but yeah, but the Instagram is huge, a huge, huge, huge way to connect, and it's easy. Like I feel like it's really easy. So yeah, this year I will even have a class Instagram account. So I have a Twitter account, I have a blog, we do remind text messages, and then I'll also have the Instagram, which will be really cool. I want to use Periscope in my classroom. I just have to figure out like how I'm going to use Periscope in my classroom. But I think it's a really cool platform to do.
Yeah, I want to use Periscope in the classroom too. So I'm right there with you. Like I want to figure out the best way to do that. Like initially, when I first started using Periscope, my first thought was pen pals, as far as like, Periscope pen pals.
Yeah.
And now I know that you can you can do private Periscopes. So I think that would be a great way to use Periscope in the classroom, to link up with another classroom and become like live pen pals. So like, on Friday afternoon, we could Periscope with each other's class and just maybe share what we did that week.
Yeah, I like that. I'll be doing something like that with Google Hangouts with Aaron Klein's class in Michigan. So we'll be like virtual pen pals in that way, because we're going to kind of check in with different, like maybe at the beginning of the month, like learning objectives that we have, and then share our learning. We might do, like with my Genius Hour projects, I'm going to do some collaboration with my friend Justin in Virginia. So you can really connect your classroom using, and Periscope and Google Hangouts are both really simple to do and to connect with other classrooms, which is cool. Should I talk maybe a little bit about, well, we kind of talked about Periscope a little bit.
Let's talk about Google Hangouts, because I know a lot of people are
Google Hangouts,
and I've had a lot of people ask me about doing Google Hangouts in the classroom. Maybe let's talk about that.
Okay, so when we first do Google Hangouts, we do them as like a mystery, like it's like a Skype, like this. It could be like a Skype, but we use this instead of Skype. And so what happens is we do it kind of like a mystery location usually for starters. And so what will happen, like if we were doing a mystery Google Hangout right now, my kids would have a list of questions to ask you to try to figure out where you're located, and you would be doing the same, and we'd be taking turns. And so like you want to have your questions prepared ahead of time. So some questions might be like, what is a state that you border? Or do you have mountains in your state? Or are you east of the Mississippi River? What time zone are you in? We try to like start with those kind of questions, and then towards the end we might do questions like, what's your state bird? Because once you know that, like you know what it is. So those are kind of like at the very end if you're like really struggling. And then some people will have jobs for their kids assigned, like you are a questioner, you are a researcher, those kind of things. Some people don't. Like for me, you're either a questioner or a researcher pretty much. There are other jobs that you can have. Actually, my friend Sarah Cooper now, she's Rocky Top teacher. We started a Google Hangout, kind of like a spreadsheet community. So if there's other classrooms that want to join in, and they're just maybe not sure where to start, you can either on my blog or on Sarah's blog. I'll tweet out the link, and I'll tweet out Sarah's too, so that you can have the spreadsheet, but you can put your name on there, your time zone, your time that you want to do it. And if it's your very first one, Sarah or I would love to do that with your class, and there'll be no pressure. And it's fun. I think like it's probably the reason my kids understand that there are time zones, and that's probably the reason that they understand, honestly, like landforms and like the 4 cardinal directions, honestly. So it just makes it really practical, and it really gives them time to practice like the real life speaking and listening skills of the 21st century, because this is important. Like this is how we communicate now. So it's important that they have that practice. You can even do Google Hangouts, you can do Google Hangouts with experts. So like we did Google Hangouts with lots of different people who are like experts in their field, which is really cool, or just other classrooms. So that's like a mystery Google Hangout now. I just saw on Twitter somebody wants to do a mystery Voxer, like a mystery Voxer location. And I'm like, yes, that's awesome. Like, sign me up. So like with Voxer, you would just leave questions throughout the day and then check back in, and that would be cool. Okay.
So there was a question on Twitter. I was going through the hashtag. How do you connect with experts to Google Hangout with your class?
Okay,
can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so mostly Twitter. So like they'll find us on Twitter at Tweeting Top Dogs, and then if we say like how we got to hang out with Brad Wade was we were doing some like augmented reality stuff, and he's like an augmented reality guy. So he was like, hey, would you guys want to do a Google Hangout and talk about what you're doing with this? And my kids are like, yes. So we tweet with him, and then it's pretty much if you ask any of those people, they will hang out with you. They are in it to make it for kids. So, and my other thing is if they're going to charge you money, like don't do it because it's not worth it because there's so many people that are experts that will do it for free. Like I was at a conference in April and I went up to this guy. He's an author of kids books. And I was like, oh, awesome. I would love for you to Google Hangout with us. You can talk about like the process of how a book gets published. Like how did you go from what my kids do to like what you're doing now? And he's like, yeah, I could do that, but it's a $75 charge. And I was like, okay, maybe I'll talk to you later about that. Like, no, I'm not going to pay $75 because there's plenty of people who will do it for free. Like,
right.
So just reach out to them on Twitter and say, hey, we're learning about this. Would you ever do a Google Hangout with us? And they'll say yes because they are in it for kids too. Like Dave Burgess is awesome. Teach Like a Pirate. He'll do Google Hangouts. Brad will do Google Hangouts.
Awesome.
So
I love that.
My thing is like, what's the worst that will happen if you ask them? Like they'll say no. And then you say, okay, thank you.
Right.
And then you go to the next one.
So one way that I've used Google Hangouts is I've had people approach me and ask me to read aloud to their class using Google Hangouts.
Yeah.
So I've done quite a few read alouds to people all over the country. So basically I sit in front of my computer in my classroom and I read them a book and they're watching from their classroom. So that's another easy way. And that's a very kindergarten friendly way to use Google Hangouts. Is, ask people to, read aloud to your class. And I loved it. I had so much fun. It was so much fun being able to see the kids watch me read to them. And then they got to ask me a couple of questions and we talked for a little bit.
That's awesome.
It would be great, reading aloud to classes and having people read aloud to my class. And then at the end of the book, our classes could, we could ask some questions back and forth and get our kids talking back and forth a little bit.
That's
so,
awesome.
Read alouds over Google Hangout is a simple, easy way to use Google Hangouts if you're not ready to jump into the getting the experts and
or a mystery location.
Right. Yeah.
One thing that we've done a Google Hangout with Holly Hoffman, her name is. She was on the TV show Survivor. She was season 21, and she's a mystery reader for our class. So she always gives 5 clues about herself, and then she's never come to my classroom live, but we give my kids a clue every day, and then on Friday she's the guest reader, and so she's the mystery reader via like Skype or Google Hangout, and it works really well. So yeah, just have your mom or dad like do a Google Hangout, read to your kids on Friday. They can be the mystery reader.
Well, cool. And I'm thinking like my kids are fascinated by the fact that I don't live with my mom and dad. Like they think that's so weird. So like if I could get my mom and dad on Google Hangout and let the kids see them, I think my kids would love that.
That would be very cool.
It is, and it's it's a great way to make another connection with your kids. So Google Hangouts, and what we're actually doing right now, what you're watching live on YouTube, this is actually being done through Google Hangouts. So we're doing, Kayla and I can see each other doing our Google Hangout, and then that's what streams live on YouTube. So you can also do live streaming with Google Hangouts. So there was a question about Twitter and how do you suggest that having your kindergartners tweet? Any suggestions? How should somebody, if they wanted their kindergartners to tweet, what would you do? How would you get that started with them? Okay,
so regardless of grade level, I'm going to be putting all of my social media release forms on my blog, top.teaching.com, and they'll be under the freebies tab. And it's probably not going to be real pretty because I'm going to make it editable, but it will do the job. So I'm just being real honest. Like, I'll have Instagram, Twitter, my blog, and then I got to figure out Periscope still. But I'll post all of those on my blog so you guys can download them, but always get permission first before you put any child on social media at all. Make sure you have the permission. Yep. And the 4 things I always ask for are first name, student work, student video, and student pictures. Those are kind of like my 4 that I always ask for. We never post locations. We never post last names. Just kind of safety things like that, I guess. So make sure you have permission, first of all. Kindergartners can definitely tweet. I know that they can. Maybe they maybe can't read and write at the beginning of the year, but there's an awesome thing on your iPad or your iPhone. If you're tweeting, you can use the voice recognition. So like whenever you are, whenever you're gonna write a tweet, you can use the microphone. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. Next to the space bar, the microphone, you can push that and your kinders can just talk into your phone or your iPad and it will translate it into words into a tweet. And so they can easily, they can talk into your phone and they can tweet that way. So that's definitely a way that you could start, is by using that. You can do it with them. Like when I first introduced Twitter, like I'll introduce it day 1 because all of my social media farms will go home at open house Thursday. So day 1, like we hit the ground running, we'll be doing our social media. So day 1, probably I'll be tweeter of the day and I'll pull it up on our projector on our smartboard and I'll show like, this is Twitter. And maybe some of my kids will know what it is and maybe some of them won't. And I will be the one writing the tweets the first day and maybe even the second day. And then I'll have my kids start writing them maybe the 3rd day. So my first tweeter of the day will teach the next tweeter of the day, who will teach the next tweeter of the day. And that's kind of how it works. So that's how I would start. Just like when you teach anything new, I would start like whole group and then give it to one kid. And then don't be afraid to have that kid teach the next kid to teach the next kid. So kind of in my classroom, the motto is everyone's a teacher and everyone's a learner. So every kid literally teaches something almost every single day to somebody else. So I have it in big letters in my classroom. I got to post a picture on Instagram because I got that done today. So don't be afraid to teach one kid and then have them teach the others and just dive in. You just got to get going on it, dive in.
And I think that's so important. As we're all heading back to school, is diving in and taking risks and trying something new. So I think that's maybe a great segue into the next part of the Greg and Kayla show tonight, is some back to school tips and advice. I've been in school. This is our 2nd full week. Today was our 7th full day, and we had 2 half days. So we're off and running.
Yeah.
Kayla starts back next week, I think.
Tuesday, yeah.
Tuesday. So we wanted to share some of our back to school tips and advice, because I know everybody's in that mode, and I know a lot of people are starting in the next couple of weeks. So I'm going to let Kayla take off and talk about relationships, and then I'm going to share some of my.
Yeah. So Greg and I actually, we were talking before this, and I was like, so what are you going to share for your best tip? And he's like, I'm going to talk about relationships. I was like, ditto. I'm like, that's just like really good advice though. So on Twitter on Saturday morning, I woke up and I feel like Twitter, like my social media is like my morning, like when I wake up, I like catch up on everything I missed overnight, which is ridiculous because people must not sleep, but I have so many notifications every morning. And so one of them was on Twitter. The chat is called Sat Chat. It was on Saturday morning, and I never even have heard of this guy, but like our mutual friend, Greg, Tech Ninja Todd, yes. He knows this guy. And he's like, oh, he's always got good things to say. So I'm like, oh, I need to follow him. But he posted his best advice for new and seasoned teachers alike is to love first, teach second. It works better in that order. And so I was like, I literally read that and I got chills. Like I screenshotted it and put it on Instagram because it was so good. So his name is Jed Dearybury, maybe. Yeah. This is him. And like, I think it's like profound advice. Like that is probably the best advice I have ever heard. So in my TED Talk, I talk about how relationships will always be the foundation of a successful classroom. Like no matter the century, no matter the school, no matter anything that you have in your district, relationships will always come first. So if you take the time to love your kids and invest in your kids first and foremost, you will get incredible results in academics and everything else in your classroom. But it sounds cliche, like there's this quote that says, they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And I'm like, that sounds so cliche, but like that is so true. So behaviors get cut way down when they know that you love them and you care about them. And so just really treat every kid, like Aaron Klein says, every kid in your classroom is someone's whole world. And I'm like, yep, that's so true. So even though I think sometimes we don't think that as teachers because we have 24 of them and it's like, oh, there's 24, but like that's someone's entire world in your classroom. And so I think like 9 times out of 10 kids who have behavior problems probably have a story that would break your heart if you actually knew what was going on. So just like, it takes the patience of a God, I think, but just have a lot of patience and really invest in the relationships, and then everything else will come first. And that is like my number one tip. But yeah, so Jed's tweet is now being like, I'm putting it into big letters and it's getting posted in my classroom right next to my other thing that says everyone's a teacher, everyone's a learner. Because I think it's important for my kids, like if my kids are teachers too, to love every kid first and then teach second. So those are kind of like my 2 mottos in my classroom this year.
Well, and I have to agree. I get people who ask about classroom management a lot. And the first thing I say is you have to build those relationships. Those kids aren't going to do what you want. They're not going to do it the way you want until they know that you care about them and that you love them. And once you build those relationships, you can get them to do what you want. But they have to know that they're safe and they have to know that they're loved and cared for. And that goes for, actually blogged about this on the Guys of Primary today.
Oh, hey, talk about that for a second.
Okay, so
yeah.
So you have to build the relationships with your kids. That nothing's going to happen without those relationships. But you also have to build relationships with the parents and the families, because we're a team. I can't do what I do without the help of the parents and the families. And so from day one, I've got to build relationships with the parents. The parents have to know that I care and love their children and that their kids are safe in my classroom. And so I make it a point when I see parents, I try to share positive things with them. And even if I do have to have a conversation with a parent or a family member about, something not so positive, I always try to lead with a positive and end with a positive. Because nobody likes to hear, well, your kid did this and your kid did this and your kid did this. They want to know what the kids are doing well. Just like as adults, we don't like it if people are constantly criticizing us. We want to be affirmed. So build the relationships with the kids, build the relationships with their families, and also build the relationships with the coworkers in your building. Teaching is hard. It's stressful. It's a lot of work. I think we work harder than anybody else in the world.
Amen.
We need to take care of each other, whether it's the people in your building or whether it's your teacher friends on social media. Like we've got to have each other's backs. And I'm in a new school this year. The school has 1,000 kids, so it's massive.
Oh, I did not know you have 1,000 kids.
It's crazy big. Like I came from a school of 300, and now I'm at a school with 1,000, and so the building is huge. It's massive. But what I found is being in this big school can be very isolating. So I don't see a lot. I don't get to see a lot of people during the day. And so when I do, it's great to be able to talk and chat with my coworkers for a few minutes. But I'm realizing now more so than ever how important those relationships are, because teaching is isolating in general. We're in a classroom all day usually with the door closed. But I'm saying, everybody, open your doors this year.
Yes.
Open the door and teach on. We got to show the world what we're doing.
Yes.
So, relationships are key across the board with your kids, with their families, and with your coworkers, because we all need each other and we've got to take care of each other. We're all in this boat together.
I'm going to add on to that. Have you read Move Your Bus yet by Ron Clark?
No.
Okay, put it on your list because it is amazing. I started it on the way to Houston on the airplane, And then I was reading it from Houston to Bend, and then I finished it in like one night. It's super short, and he talks about how basically like every business or school is like a bus. So like there's the driver of the bus who's leading it in the direction. Then there's runners, who are people who are like constantly going above and beyond to like, for kids, doing things for kids above and beyond, no questions asked, they just do it. There's joggers who are doing things for kids and constantly working, and then like every once in a while go really above and beyond. And joggers are still doing a good job. And then there's like walkers and there's riders, and your riders slow down your bus because they're just there because they can still be there, and like basically they should probably be fired, but they're not, and they're just riders on your bus. But anyways, the whole thing with Ron Clark's thing is sometimes if you're a runner, it makes other people like joggers or walkers or riders feel bad because they're not doing runners. And so sometimes you might be asked to shut your door to not make other people feel bad. And he talks about how as teachers or as businesses or as schools, we need to make sure that we have our doors open to share the good things that we're doing, and not like it. Don't take it personally if a runner is doing something awesome, like, and you aren't. Like, go do that. Like, go do the same thing and have your door open and share those cool things that you're doing. So yeah, if anybody who's listening, if you haven't read Move Your Bus Yet by Ron Clark, it's a ridiculous, amazing book. Really, 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 really good. Yeah.
And, I talked about, I posted a picture on my Facebook and Instagram a while back, and it said, open your door and teach on.
Yeah.
I used to have that mentality of closing my door and doing what I do, but that's not helpful. That doesn't help anybody. That's not helping to change the narrative. So this year it's all about open doors. My door stays open all day long because I want people to walk by and see what we're doing and hear what we're doing. And I want people to understand that we can still be loud and crazy and have fun and be creative, and we can still learn and meet the standards, and we can show tremendous growth. So everybody open those doors and keep teaching and let the world see what you're doing.
Yes.
And
I would say, like, I think like a quiet classroom is not always a good thing. Like, I really do think that, like, sometimes if I walk by a really quiet classroom, I'm like, what is going on? Like, why are those kids so quiet? And they're like, and I think sometimes like there's a difference between being compliant and like being engaged and learning, and they're not the same thing. So just being aware, like, are they being compliant or are they actually like engaged and learning? And sometimes a quiet classroom's not always a good thing. So yeah, be crazy, have fun, make noise, and still learn, and it's all good.
Exactly. And share it on social media with the hashtag Happy Classroom.
Yes. So Greg and I put that challenge out there at our last show. We were like, we just need to flood social media because there's such a negative cloud around everything in education. So we were like, yeah, everybody should post stuff to social media, good stuff that's happening in your classroom. And then Greg posted, after the show, he posted George Kouros's challenge to post positive things to like a school hashtag once a day. And then actually all of you guys were amazing, and you guys were like, hey, what's the hashtag? Like, so we can all share it. And then I asked George, he's like, there is no like global hashtag, national hashtag. He's like, so make it up. So Greg and I, no joke, for probably 2 weeks, like texting each other back and forth, like, what do you think of Edu Happy? What do you think of Edu Positive? What do you think of Happy Classrooms? And finally, after Happy Classrooms, we were both like, yes, that's the one. And so we put that challenge out, created the graphic. It's been shared hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times. It's been retweeted hundreds of times. People are sharing amazing, inspiring content to the hashtag Happy Classrooms on Twitter, on Instagram. Greg's seen it on Facebook. So just keep sharing that. It is amazing. Yesterday, somebody tweeted how they, on their tweet deck, they just have the column that's constantly Happy Classrooms. And she's like, it's so uplifting and inspirational to just go through there and see all of the cool, awesome, positive things that are happening. And it doesn't have to be like a huge thing. Like, it can just be a tiny little awesome thing that went great in your classroom that day.
And, the thing about it is, if you turn on the news or read the newspaper or look at social media, there's always, it's like a constant criticism, a constant attack on education and teachers and all of the stuff that we're doing wrong.
Yes.
And so the only people who can change that, and the only people who are going to take over the conversation and make it a happy, positive conversation are the people who are doing it every day. And that's us. We're in the school. We're in the classroom. We're the one doing these things. We have to take over the conversation. And the way to do that is on social media. Who's on social media? Everybody. So if just think about this. If everybody that follows me on Instagram were to Instagram one positive thing from their classroom every day with a hashtag happy classrooms, that would be thousands of people. Thousands of positive stories coming out of teachers' classrooms every day. And then if all of Kayla's followers on Twitter, how many Twitter followers do you have? Thousands. Yeah. So all of her followers tweet something with happy classrooms every day. And then your friends and your friends and it just snowballs into this huge global movement of the amazing things that happen in our classrooms every day. The conversation would change. It wouldn't always be about what's wrong with education. It would be about what we're doing right and the amazing things that our kids are doing and our kids are learning every day. And I think Kayla made a good point. It doesn't always have to be this big, huge moment. No. You know that in your classroom, every day there are these little bitty moments for every child that maybe only you notice. But think about the power of sharing that with people all over the world and letting people see into your classroom and to share those moments and imagine the impact that would have and imagine how we can change that conversation just by simply sharing the happy classrooms and sharing the amazing things that are happening in our classroom. Like I know it's big already, but I know me and Kayla have talked about this. We want this to blow up. We want this to be trending on Twitter. Yep. You know what? We have the power to make that happen. We're not celebrities with millions of followers. Nope. But just think about how many of us there are on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, on blogs. I mean, wrap your head around those numbers. Imagine if we all tweeted one thing each day with that hashtag happy classrooms. How much where would that hashtag go? Yes. I think it would really draw attention to the good things that are happening and the hard work that we put in. And I think like people who make education policies, if they knew the ridiculous amount of time that we put into every little thing, they would be blown away just looking at that hashtag. And like it has already taken off a ton. But like Greg said, it's not good enough. Like we want it trending on Twitter. Like on Happy Classrooms, we want to see like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of things every day. Like we're talking hundreds of thousands of tweets. It could be if we just we are encouraging you to share the graphic, tweet positive things every day. So I'm just looking at some of the things that have been tweeted, like watching all 90 of your students write creatively, be excited to share, and then sit down and read independently makes for happy classrooms. Practiced our center today, and it went great. Happy classrooms. Amen. Yeah, perfect. Like, great. It doesn't have to be a big thing, even though that is a big thing. Amy Storer, her name is. I spoke in Houston this summer at a conference, and she was there. And that's just when we launched Happy Classrooms, Greg. Like, I feel like it was the day that we decided finally on the hashtag. And I shared it out. And she challenged her entire staff to use it. So I got her entire staff to use Twitter, and they're using Happy Classrooms now. So her entire school every day is using Happy Classrooms, Happy Classrooms. So just think of even at her school, they can see something cool from every single classroom, it's huge. So they're doing the Happy Classrooms Challenge throughout the year at her school, which is awesome. I think every school should be doing that. Right, and I actually printed the graphic and laminated it, and it's hanging outside of my classroom door.
That's awesome.
Everybody that walks by can see Happy Classrooms. Seriously, like I want to make a shirt. I want to wear it every day. And I want to need more shirts. Let's make another shirt, Greg. Right? Yeah. I think that we need to do we need to do more to share our stories with the world.
Mm-hmm.
And even thinking about the world, but just with our communities right here at home.
Mm-hmm.
I think if the more positive stuff we put out about our kids and about teaching and about classrooms, the more people want to be involved, the more people become engaged, and all of that means better schools and better opportunities for our kids. And we all know that that's, at the end of the day, that's what we want.
Yep, we are all in this for kids. So it's always like kids first, teachers second. And so that's why we have schools, is for kids. And so if we are all doing this and just like even just going through that hashtag, I try to do it every single night and just look at the cool things that are being shared to it. It's amazing, amazing, inspiring things that are happening in classrooms. On like day 2, somebody tweeted from Australia things that she was doing in her classroom, and I was like, yes, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
So it's global, which is really cool. But I think it's really important that we do that as educators. I think it's huge. So we are challenging you to join the Happy Classroom campaign/mission, because it's kind of like it's our project right now. It's our huge project. And I love that you printed that. I'm totally doing that. I actually think I should print it and like put it in every single teacher's lounge, because our district actually is doing a huge social media campaign, like a kickoff, starting next week. And so that would be like, we have our district hashtag, but I think we should also use Happy Classrooms a ton. I love that you printed it. It's awesome. I need to do that.
Well,
perfect.
And, just think, like, let's say you've had a bad day, and I always tell people, find the one positive in every day. And I know there are days when my kids are tired of me and I'm tired of them, but there's always something that happens each day that's positive and that's good that you can focus on. And think about, just share that. So, and you could say, man, today was rough, but this happened. Hashtag Happy Classrooms.
Yes.
And just think, if you're having that bad day, imagine going on Twitter or Instagram and clicking on the hashtag and scrolling through all of those positive moments from classrooms all over the world. Imagine how that would make you feel.
Okay, I have to give a shout out to Marcy Hausman, her name is. She was doing the TLAP chat on Twitter this week, and she tweeted, I accepted the challenge to tweet at least one positive every day to Happy Classrooms. It keeps me focused. And I loved that, because it's helping her keep focused on the good things and not the stinky things. So I loved that. I love that that's her focus, because it's helping her at least pick one good thing that happened every day, because there's at least one good thing, even in like the worst day. Like there's at least one good thing that happened that you could tweet out and share. So it's helping her stay focused, and I really liked that.
Hey, Kayla, we got another question on Twitter.
Okay.
Quick before we wrap it up, about Bobby wants to know, she wants to connect better with parents. So maybe some suggestions for first week activities to connect with busy parents. Okay. Do
you want to go first?
Yeah. We do. I do a hopes and dreams project. Our district is a responsive classroom district, and so this is and my new school this year is actually the district model school for responsive classroom.
What?
So, yeah.
Oh my
all
gosh.
1,000 kids.
Yeah, that's a lot of kids.
Lost in the building aimlessly.
That's awesome.
So we, responsive classroom has the hopes and dreams component. So we do a big thing with the kids in the classroom. We get them to talk about their hopes and dreams for kindergarten. And basically in kindergarten, it looks like we talk about all the things we want to learn in kindergarten. We make a giant circle map. And then the next day we do a predictable chart. And so basically it would say, Greg wants to learn to read. Kayla wants to learn to count. And so they pick their most important hope or dream for the year, and we write a sentence, and that becomes their puzzle piece. And then I send home a letter to parents explaining to them that we've done hopes and dreams in the classroom, and I want the parents could give me, the parents, hopes and dreams for their child in kindergarten.
Oh, I like that piece.
And then, so the parents send in their hopes and dreams, and I put those on a separate puzzle piece. And then I connect the child's puzzle piece with the parent's puzzle piece. And we display that on our classroom door, and it stays up all year long. So it's a constant reminder, not only to me, but to the kids and to parents and families, that we're all in this together, and we all have hopes and dreams for the year. And we're all these pieces, but we're all a giant puzzle. And when we come together, we make this beautiful thing, and we can make these hopes and dreams come true. So that's an easy way to connect with parents, and it's great at the beginning of the year to build that bridge with parents, to let them know that, hey, I want your input on what you want for your child this year. And just for the kids who might not get a family member or a parent to send in their hopes and dreams, so nobody's left out, I will write hopes and dreams for that child. So everybody has two puzzle pieces, one with their hopes and dreams, and then one with a parent or a family member or my hopes and dreams for them. So that's one back to school activity that we do that has a tremendous impact on not only me, because reading some of those hopes and dreams from the parents can really get emotional and tug at your heart. And then when you talk to the kids about what they want and what their parents want, it's really powerful to see them connecting.
That's awesome. I love that. The responsive classroom, the hopes and dream is one of the things I do very first in the school year, just because it sets the tone for what we're going to focus on for that child for the year. So it's really similar in second grade, except for it's maybe not as predictable, but it's really similar, and it has to be things like, not things like I want to be a professional football player, because you're not going to do that in second grade,
right?
But something that they can learn. And for me, it keeps a focus on that child's specific goal throughout the whole year, which is good. So another way that I connect better with parents, my best way to connect with parents is actually the Remind app, which I know I talked about last. This isn't an exact activity, but it's a suggestion for how to connect better with parents. So I use the Remind app not only just to say so book orders are due Friday, but I make a point, especially in the 2 weeks, to send a text every single day the first 2 weeks of school of something that we did that day. And then I'll say so if we did hopes and dreams on Tuesday, I'll say, ask your child what their hope and dream is for this school year. And then Wednesday, if we learn about, or if we make our classroom rules, I'll say, ask your child what our 5 classroom rules are. Or so that's just a way that I connect with parents, is the Remind app, and it's free if you haven't downloaded it yet. I always have 100% turnout of people who sign up for that, because every single parent has a phone. They might not all have email addresses, lots don't still, but they all have a phone, and they can all get text messages. You can even text to houses now, landlines. So
yeah,
so you can totally do that.
And you can sign up with email, and now you can even you can chat privately one-on-one with parents. So if I wanted to have a conversation with Kayla about her child, we could actually do that through the Remind app. So that's just another level of communication and access that parents have. I'm a huge fan of the Remind app.
Yeah, we both we're spokes. We should get paid probably by them for how many times we for real. So right? Remind, if anyone who works for Remind is watching this right now, we would love for you to sponsor our Greg and Kayla show.
Right. We did a meetup here this summer in Nashville, and Remind sent us a bunch of swag.
Yes, they're so good to do that.
And we, the 5 of us who were hosting the meetup, we actually wore our Remind t-shirts to a baseball game. So there were a group of 30 of us went to the baseball game, and 5 of us had on our bright blue Remind shirts. So
that's awesome. Me too. I wear my shirt, just geeking out all around. Anytime I do PD and I talk about Remind, I wear it. And they're awesome to send you swag. So if you are going to do any kind of training on it at your school, just shoot them a DM on Twitter, a direct message, and they'll send you tons of free stuff, which is cool.
Yeah. And it just makes communicating with parents so simple.
Easy, simple. And so On Thursday, this Thursday, I'll have my open house for an hour. And literally at one point, I tell parents, okay, everyone take out your cell phone. And I have them all sign up right then and there. Like, I'm like, no, I know it's in your pocket. Take out your cell phone right now.
Awesome.
So we're doing this. And then if at parent teachers conferences in like a month, if they still don't have it, or 2 months or whatever, then I get them signed up. So, and some of your parents will sign up for the text and the email. They'll get like hit double whammy when you send out something. But I really try to use it almost like as a way to almost flip what you're doing so that you can keep the conversation and the learning going at home. So that would be my challenge if you use that. But I'm going to say throughout the year, I almost text something daily, like maybe not every single day, but a lot of days. But that's probably my best tip.
Yeah.
For connecting better.
Yeah, I agree. So looks like we're about out of time for the second episode of the Greg and Kayla Show.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, look at us.
Yeah.
That's 2.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll do it again in September, probably towards the end of the month or maybe middle of the month. And I'll be like well into school by then, which is cool. And you'll be like,
I'll be wrapping up my first 9 weeks and doing report cards.
You're like done for the year, and I'm just starting. No. We joke because he started, like, we went to Vegas, and then right when we got back, I was like, wow, you're like at school. And I still had a month off.
We start early, so but we get some nice breaks in there, so that's good. Which
is really nice. Yeah. So if you guys have any questions for us still after this, go ahead and shoot them to us on any kind of social media. We're on everything.
We're everywhere.
Yeah, we're on literally everything. We're like, what is it? What's the credit card that's accepted everywhere? That's us. Yeah. MasterCard or whatever it is. We're everywhere. So ask us questions if you have them. Seriously, you guys, hear our challenge and accept it for Happy Classrooms, because we can't do it by ourselves. And we have so many people doing amazing, crazy, cool, inspirational things in classrooms every single day that needs to be shared. And if the thousands of people that see it do it, it's globally will change education.
Exactly.
So we need your help. We challenge you to do it.
Yeah. Hashtag Happy Classrooms. I want it trending.
Mm-hmm.
Let's make this happen.
Yep. So share it on your Instagram, share it on your Twitter, Facebook, blog about it. Share our graphic, share that graphic any place and every place, and just get the word out. Print it like Greg did, like print it, laminate it,
blow it up on the poster size.
Heck yes, do that. do that, and just share it, because it's huge. It's already huge, and it can be bigger, and it needs to be bigger. So thank you for the support that you guys have done with it so far. It's incredible. Absolutely. It's inspiring. It's amazing. Yeah, and if you guys have show topic ideas that you want to for September, let us know. Because we can definitely.
Let us know what questions you have.
Yeah. Okay. Very cool.
Well, thanks everybody for watching. We hope that you got some good ideas. We hope maybe more of you will be inspired to use social media as a teacher and in your classroom. So thanks for watching. Have a great night. Bye, Kayla.
Bye, Greg. See you.